Keith Taylor, Green MEP for the South East. On food banks, why did you decide to commission this research?
Well, for the last 6 months, I've been touring the South East region, and I've been going to look at food banks and seeing how they're operating. And suddenly I realised that actually this was a service that was really in demand, but outside the welfare system. And so I found now from the report that actually food banks have multiplied to the extent there's now nearly 60 across the South East, whereas 10 years ago I don't think there was a single one. And we're looking at the number of people anticipated to be using food bank services up to 70,000, a 60% increase in 12 months. This is serious stuff.
And I'll ask you about some of those results in a second, but really I wanted to get a sense of why you decided to commission this research. You say you've been around the South East region and you've seen food banks in use, but do you have serious concerns about the fact that they are being used and the fact that there is so much demand for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm representing 8.6 million people in the region. A lot of them have less disposable money. A lot of them are in a job that is going nowhere in terms of wages. All of them are seeing increasing prices for living accommodation, housing, transport, energy. And I'm just saying this government, in the way that it's looking at headline figures and saying we're going to make that reduction, is talking about figures, not people. And I care about people.
So you've looked at, in fact you had case studies in your report of, if I could put it this way, real people from the South East. But looking at some of then the figures that you've put together, it talks about, for example, the number of people using food banks rising from 1,000 to 45,000. I mean, they're incredible figures. What do you make of the results? Were you surprised, for example, at what you found out?
Well, I thought the results are quite shocking. What we're seeing is the effect of the government policies in reducing benefits, and that is the major reason that forces people into seeking emergency help, is benefit alterations, benefit sanctions, housing benefit, child benefit. Just looking at child benefit, there's a million families in receipt of child benefit. They're all seeing reductions, I think. And, we can't keep on reducing the amount of money that poorer people have to live on. And we're actually seeing, and quite a significant trend in this report, was that we're seeing more and more working poor. It's not just people on benefits, it's people in jobs who are not able to feed themselves or their family. And really, I think this is a last-ditch resort, this emergency service, which would only exist because volunteers make it happen. It's nothing the government is doing to promote food banks. And if we didn't have that, where would those people go?
Do you think then the government, aside from government policies to alleviate policy, do you think the government could perhaps be actively supporting food banks?
Now, I try and keep touch of government policies, and honestly I haven't really noticed too much being done to alleviate poverty. I'm actually looking at a government taking political decisions to reduce benefits to the most vulnerable in favour of supporting incentives for the most wealthy, for bankers, for investment companies and so forth. This is a political decision. And the more that we actually introduce these curbs on benefits, and we've got the universal benefit coming up in the horizon, the more we see of that, the more the problem is going to increase.
In fact, as I understand it, there's a debate today in Westminster on food banks. How important is it that in Westminster this is taken as a serious issue, and perhaps that the government should in some way actively support food banks? Is that something you'd like to see?
Well, of course. I mean, the government can do many things. I hope the debate today in Parliament is going to lead the way towards that. One big step would be for the government to release the DEFRA study into food banks that they themselves commissioned. Earlier in the year, it's been ready since the summer, it's being suppressed. Now, why is that? What don't they want us to know? And I think that any debate in Parliament must be informed, and it must actually go towards finding solutions.
There's a lot of discussion about food banks and whether the number of people using food banks is more about awareness that they're there rather than genuine need. How do you counter that discussion, that debate?
Well, I think the way the food bank system works, which is essentially by referral from agencies, actually does act as a funnel for applications for emergency help. You can't keep on going to a food bank. You can't knock on a food bank's door on the way to, wherever, claim your benefits or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. There's a strict limit on the number of times that they can assist people. And so to suggest that people would rather go through the laborious process of a food bank application rather than simply buying their own food is just stupid. And the people are going there because they don't have enough money. And even the working poor, they're actually on minimum wage, which is not enough to live on. So one of the things we're calling upon the government, and several councils in the southeast have actually taken this up, is to introduce a living wage, a wage that you can actually live on, not a minimum wage that you can't.
Other solutions that you have put into the report, or that it states in the report, talk about, for example, paying benefits on time and ensuring more jobs for young people. How do you achieve those two objectives?
Well, you need to shake up the benefit system. I mean, the number one reason that forces families over the edge into seeking emergency help is something to do with benefits. Usually that the benefit they've promised has been delayed. And other reasons are the benefit has been sanctioned and the benefit has been reduced. So actually they are a large part of the reason that we have the problem. Now the government should be able to sort that out. It's telling us that we're all in it together. I don't believe them. I believe that if you're waiting for a benefit check to arrive and it doesn't come, there are no options. If you've got 3 hungry kids in the house, you've got no food in your cupboard, you've got no money in your purse, what are you supposed to do?
What are you going to do with the findings in this report? What are you going to do now that you've got the answers that you were seeking in this research that you've had carried out?
Well, I'll certainly be continuing to apply pressure and to spread awareness of what's going on, because we're told that government is set on a political direction, yet we're not knowing, and people don't understand unless they are in the system themselves. They don't understand the hardship that is being caused. And I think most people don't want to see that happen.